Hello everybody, my name is Bill. This is Restoration. So today we're going to do something a lot different. So my question is, can you tell me what these two steel pedals and that oven have to do with each other? Don't go away. That's today's video. These pedals have been on a 50-year journey. Yeah, 55-year journey. And they belong on the Willys MB, the 43. Now, for reasons, I was not involved in the restoration. And because of that, there were questions that were never asked. And the truth is, I have had these since I tore the Jeep apart. Now, tearing the Jeep apart is a story in and of itself, but I did that when I was 15 years old, 14, 15, 16, in that area there. I literally tore that Jeep right down to pieces. And I was the guy who organized and boxed and labeled everything. But the problem was that was all done when I was a kid, and I am not a kid anymore. So when they went to do the restoration on the MB, again, I was not involved with that. They didn't have the pedals, and I'm going to talk about that right now because my goal is to get these pedals put back on the Willys MB. So let me tell you about the journey that these things have been through. So as I was dismantling the Jeep, I was taking parts and I was priming, cleaning them, priming them, painting them. In fact, I cleaned, scraped, primed, painted the entire frame underneath the MB. And I did the same to the pedals. Well, as years went on, and things sort of got mixed in and moved around, the pedals ended up in the tub of the CJ5. Now, I also tore my CJ5 apart. Turns out I'm really good at tearing Jeeps apart and not always so good at putting them back together. So in the process of moving things around, the pedals ended up in the tub of the CJ5. So when the guys took the Jeep to do the restoration, they didn't have the pedals. They installed square pedals because they didn't know better. All right, got the right gas pedal, but the wrong brake and clutch pedal. So they bought what they thought was right. And the fact was these round pedals are the ones that belong on the Jeep. Now, stay with me on this because the story's not done yet. It's a whole different set of pedals that goes on the CJ5. I don't know where those are. They're somewhere up in one of these boxes. But I'm not worried about the pedals for the CJ5 yet because I'm not ready for that part of the restoration. However, this does also involve the CJ2A. Let me go explain that to you. Now, I had nothing to do with the restoration of the CJ2. Nothing. I bought it the way it is, and I've been doing improvements and upgrades to it since I've bought it. There's been a whole bunch of things that needed to be done. Anyway, well, it turns out that the CJ2A also has the wrong pedals on it. And that's where the story gets even more interesting. Let's go take a look at the CJ2. Turns out that when they did the restoration on the CJ2A, The pedals they put in were the pedals for, I believe, is a CJ5, or a more modern pedal. So here is the plan. Here is what I'm thinking I'm going to do. Because I don't believe these belong on this Jeep, I'm going to remove them. I'm also going to rebuild some of the linkage underneath on the frame. This one has a lot of play, and I don't like that play, so I'm going to try and fix that. In fact, the play is starting to wear holes in the side of this, or enlarging the hole, the pass-through hole. So I want to get that done. I want to get a rubber bumper stop to stop that from slamming back like that. Anyway, my plan is to replace these with what I think is the correct pedal, and I think the correct pedal is the pedal that's down on the MB. So we're going to make this three-way switch. We're going to take the pedals off from the MB and put the correct pedals, or the pedals that went with the Jeep, when I tore it apart, which is these steel rounded pedals. I'm going to replace those. Take the pedals, the square pedals, off of the MB and put them over here on the CJ2A, because I believe those square pedals are the correct pedals for the CJ2A. Eventually, either these pedals, if I can't find the original CJ5 pedals, which I'm sure are somewhere in one of the boxes, if I can't find them, then I'll put these pedals on the CJ5. And in the end, when we're done, my hope is that all of the pedals are correct for the model and year of the Jeeps. Now, what does all that have to do with this oven? Let me explain that. Before I retired from my job of 45 years, I spent a lot of money on some tools and equipment that I thought would be useful for me in my retirement and all the projects that I wanted to work on. One of those was this powder coating system, which included this powder coating oven. Now, I've used this quite a bit in my gunsmithing shop, doing restorations, doing bluing, and a bunch of other jobs that required that the parts be heated up. And this has been a valuable tool for me. But part of this is I also brought, as a part of this, the powder coating system. Now, I've never used this powder coating system. This will be new for me. What I want to do is clean these up and then powder coat these. So my first experiment using powder coating systems will be on these pedals. I'm going to do these in a gloss black. It's going to be fine. I'm not trying to restore or replicate a military Jeep. The Jeep is gray because that's the way it was when my dad bought it. Was it a Navy Jeep? Could be, we don't know. But these pedals are in really good shape. They're in good condition. All of the grooves are in good, sharp condition. A little bit of wear on the pedals themselves. The little nubs are worn off. Anyway, so I am going to clean these, wire brush them, get them all prepped for powder coat. In our next video, that is what I want to do, is I want to get these things powder coated. So if you come back, you're going to be part of my great experiment trying to learn how to powder coat. That should be fun, right? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I am on a march to 1,000 subs. I cannot wait for that to happen. When I get 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, I get to monetize, and then I can buy more stuff for my Jeeps. Not much, because at 1,000 subs, you don't get a lot of monetization, but there will be some. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you staying through this entire little discussion, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.